In this video, we are going to talk about OneNote and how to use it for digital planning and how to use it to take notes. So if that's something you're interested in, you're going to really enjoy this video. So you're going to want to go through with me as we talk about the basic features, the enhanced features that are available, how you can integrate with other apps, how you can collaborate and share. We're going to show you how to use it for planning, for note-taking. So if you're in an organization, business, or even in school, and you're trying to get the most out of OneNote, this video is for you. But let's talk about OneNote a little bit and what makes it a great application when it comes to note-taking first. First off, I want you to know it is a universal application. The platform has been built for Windows, Android, Apple, and even some e-ink devices. And what does this mean? Well, it means if you are on your phone, you have your laptop or tablet, or you're running off of an iPad versus a Windows machine, you have the ability to take those notes and synchronize them across all the spaces and places. So think about that for a minute. Maybe you're at your desk, you're in a meeting, you're in a class, and you have your tablet and you're taking a note. Or maybe you're in the grocery store, or you're sitting behind the wheel of your car and you're on a phone call and you have your phone out in front of you and you take a note. Maybe you're at your desk and you're copying information from an email into OneNote or from a website into OneNote. No matter where you're at, those notes are going to synchronize across, again, those Windows, Android, and Apple devices, and you have complete access. So when you go from your desk to your car, that note is carrying with you. When you move from your car to your home and you're on the couch, those notes are going with you as you sit with your tablet. And that makes OneNote really powerful because it gives you the opportunity to be able to access those notes everywhere across all your devices. But one thing to note is when it comes to using OneNote, the interface is slightly different on each of the platforms. Windows has all the features and opportunities that we're going to showcase today. Apple has a select set of features, and we're going to identify those on their laptops and mobile devices. While Android is an application that's kind of pared down, but it holds all of the features that are available for typing, taking notes, and drawing. So no matter what device you're using with the application, you're still going to have all the fundamental devices. And as you move through other platforms, you're going to get an enhanced experience. So that is what we're going to uncover today. And as you learn one thing, do me a favor, show your gratitude by hitting the like button. Subscribe if you want to continue to learn more about OneNote and digital planning and how to take better notes in your life. And we're going to get into OneNote and how you can utilize it right now. All right, we're first going to cover all the basic features of how to type, draw, write inside of OneNote. And traditionally speaking, across all the different applications, Windows, Android, and Apple, and I hope I don't say that too much throughout this video, the format of how these tools are laid out is quite consistent. First off, I want to tell you something. When it comes to handwriting on these devices, there's a couple things that I found that are really beneficial. When I use my iPad, for example, I have this matte screen cover on, and you can see when I go ahead and I move to a space and I write with it, the writing is really nice. Now, how do I accomplish that? It gives me a paper-like experience, which is ultimately what we're trying to do when it comes to digital note-taking. Well, I use this matte cover that's magnetic, which makes the experience even more powerful because if I want to go ahead and consume media, I can take this off and have that full resolution display that I enjoy on my tablet. But when I go to use it as a device for note-taking, I can easily pop it on. The other thing you can see right here is I have a metal tip, and I do that not only on my iPad, but also on my Surface Pro. This gives me the ability to have a really fine line when I'm writing. And if these tools interest you and you want to learn more about these matte covers, as well as these pen tips, go ahead, check the description. There's a link and even a discount code for you. So let's talk about basic features. So across the top of the screen, you're going to find the toolbar. We're going to go under the tool called Draw. From here, we're going to have a selection of different tools that you can use for typing as well as writing your notes. And there's also some additional features like the ruler, shapes, and stuff that you can use to enhance your note-taking capability. When it comes to using a select tool, this is going to allow me to go ahead and put down a cursor. Now, I can open up the cursor and I can choose to have a keyboard on here, and I can go ahead and type a note. I can also use my computer and have a foldable keyboard. So if I want to pull this into play, I can easily do so, and I can go ahead and type like such. I can also, with that, be able to copy and paste any text into my notes. So utilizing that type tool is pretty awesome. A couple things I want you to know when it comes to using the type tool. A lot of times if you're using like a planning system like ours, sometimes the type won't align where you want it. You can simply go into Draw and click on Shapes here and turn off Snap to Grid. By doing so, what it's going to allow you to do is move that text box around that container wherever you want to have it placed. And then from there, as you return, all the different type lines up perfectly on the screen, as long as you're using the default type and font size that has been brought out by OneNote. We have a complete video that shows how to do this if you're having any trouble. The other thing that I will note, you can also go ahead and hold the Alt key on your desktop or laptop computer and move that text container around to better suit the position where you want. When we go back into Draw, we also have the lasso tool, and we're going to dive into that just in a few minutes. We also have the eraser, which we'll dive into in a few minutes. But the next one I want to show you is this pen tool with a letter A. This tool is becoming more and more common. It's on Windows and Apple devices. But what it allows me to do is I can place that cursor on the screen, and I can go ahead with my pen tool and I can write a note. And what does it do? It takes that handwritten note and converts it to text. It is a really powerful tool if you are somewhere in a position where you want to be able to hand write your notes but instantly get them over to text. We can go back into Draw, and now we see we have all these other tools. We have different pen tools here. Now, these pen tools, when we click on them, we can change the thickness, we can change the color, and we can essentially delete a tool. Now, we can also add a pen. So, like say, for example, I don't need all these black ones at different thicknesses. I typically have one that is a thinner line, and then I have another one that is a little bit thicker. Just depends if I want to have a handwritten note versus if I'm trying to write like a title screen or something of that nature. And I also have the ability to have the highlighter, and you can see that there's a thickness adjustment there and a color there. So if I want to create a custom pen, I could come in here and hit Add Pen, and I can choose between these three options and click on Pen. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a thickness, and maybe I want to have a red or an orange pen tip. And if I click on that, you're going to see that that's there. Now I can also go ahead and click on that, and I can drag that over here and reorganize that. But what this allows me to do is if I pull that pen tab and I put in orange, and I can go ahead and write a note, you're going to see that is in color. Now I can go ahead and also make that line thicker easily and write a note as well. So that's one thing to note as you're using the pen tools. You can change the individual settings pretty easily to change the thicknesses. And then if I'm done using that one, I can go ahead and hit delete, and it's deleted from there. And I can also do that with highlighters too. Now, one thing that I find that's really interesting, there's a couple little tricks of the trade. If I take my pen, and I'm just going to make the line a little thicker, so I'm going to choose this one. If I go ahead and draw a line, I'm not very good at drawing a line, but if I hold my pen straight, it's going to make a straight line for me. You can simply doing that by holding the pen tip just for a second, and it'll go ahead and make a straight line. You can also do that with making a shape. If I bring a shape in a circle and just hold it to the line, it'll make a perfect shape for me. So if you're into squares, circles, or even triangles, you can do that. And that is one really awesome feature. And the color of the line of that shape is going to be the line color of your pen. So if you want to go ahead and make that red color, I'll go ahead and do that. And here I can just go ahead and make a circle. And I can go ahead and make a circle. Now, if I want to resize that, this is where the lasso tool starts to get exciting. I can go ahead and take the lasso tool. I can select and make these smaller. I can also choose to change the pen properties. So if I wanted to actually make that orange this time, boom, now it's orange. And I can do that with each of these. I can also select all of them, and I can go ahead and delete, cut, copy, and paste. I can also straighten or even realign those and bring them front to back. So those are some powerful features as well. So anytime you can use that lasso tool to kind of clean up everything that you're doing and even select and move stuff. You can also use the lasso tool to go ahead and copy and say if you had a task list and you want to bring it from one day to the next day, you could do that by using the lasso tool, moving to the next day, and going ahead and hit paste. I find myself when it comes to planning, I copy all my to-dos from one day with the lasso tool, bring them over to the next day, and then I simply erase the ones that are finished. Now with some styluses, you can use the backside of the stylus to go ahead and erase. And in some cases, if you don't have a stylus that has that ability, you can go ahead and choose the eraser tool. Now the eraser tool has a couple neat features. Again, you can choose the thickness, but it also has the ability to erase by stroke and also by image. So what does that mean? Well, if I go ahead and draw 2 lines, and I'm going to make those lines a little thicker so you guys can see those a little better. I'm going to draw 2 lines. Again, I'm going to click and hold so they get nice and straight. And if I go ahead and use the erase tool and I choose to have on the erase tool with the stroke, when I go ahead and I simply touch that line, it erases the entire stroke. But if I want to go ahead and turn that feature off, I can come in here and choose point eraser, and what that'll do is you can see the little square box. It's only going to erase the section of that line where the eraser touches. And I can go ahead again and change the thickness and make that larger, and therefore I can have a more precise erase. So that's really important if you're going ahead and doing like drawing or writing and you only want to erase certain segments and not erase the entire stroke. I personally like to have the stroke on because I find when it comes to erasing, it's a little easier for me to be able to quickly remove any mistakes that I made. I don't make a lot of mistakes though, but as far as highlighting goes, we can use highlighting to go ahead and highlight space. Same thing is true. If I go ahead and I'm highlighting and I hold down that line, it'll go ahead and make it straight. So where is this really powerful? Well, if I jump into, say, my planner and I start writing out a schedule, so I'm just going to erase this here and I'm going to go ahead and write coffee with Nate. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there, and then I have an office meeting here at 10. And I'm going to go ahead and use that highlighter, and I'm going to choose the color blocking yellow for any like personal activities that I have. But any work activities, I'm going to choose to have orange. I like to color block a lot when it comes to planning, because when you color block, I think that helps, especially not only organize the different appointments that you have, but it also gets you a better feeling of how you're investing your time for the day. If I saw that there was quite a bit of yellow on this page, I might have to rethink how much personal time I'm taking away, versus if I'm using orange, it really sees if maybe I'm over investing myself in my work. I use pink for any personal items like taking care of my kids, spending time with family. This gives me a good way to have a good organization of what I'm doing and an understanding of how well I'm balancing my time. So those are some of the basic features when it comes to using OneNote. We talked a little bit about building shapes, and we have all these different shapes that you can use. And we also talked about ink to text through this option. The other option you can use ink to text is where I can go ahead and I can write a note, and from here I can go under this draw tool and go ahead and hit the lasso tool and select that, and then from here it says ink to text. That is also available in the draw tool right here. Now a lot of people ask me, hey Branden, you keep hitting on this draw tool, and doesn't that feel kind of annoying? Well, if you click right here, you can go ahead and you can pin that ribbon so it shows it all the time. You can also, and now you can see that ribbon there is always there. You can also set it up so that it only shows the tabs that you're using, or you can have it in full screen mode. And when you're in full screen mode, then you don't see those tabs unless you click on it here. Now, one feature I like about OneNote is when I enter in full screen mode here, my full screen mode is here, but I also have those main typing and drawing tools across the top, and all the favorites that I created are right here, as well as an undo button. And then I can simply access my planner and the different segments right here. And we're going to talk about how OneNote works here in a minute. And if I can go ahead and disable that feature, and this is great for presentation mode. So now I can go ahead and showcase the planner, showcase any notes I've taken. I don't have to worry about marking it up. And I can easily turn that back on and it'll show those notes there, and I can exit full screen mode there. So those are some of the basic features of how to go ahead and use OneNote. We're going to dive into some enhanced features that are going to show you how to use like audio recording, importing and marking up PDFs, as well as maybe how to collaborate. So that's in our next segment here. As we start to look at some of the more enhanced features that are going to improve your note-taking experience, we're going to go ahead and click on the Insert button. Across the Insert button, you're going to find the ability to create a table, include print-offs or attachments, even pull in Excel documents, create clipping masks, add pictures, create links, transcribe your notes, record video and audio, and even the ability to date stamp your notes. These are all really awesome features, and there's a couple of them that I want to show you. First and foremost, the table is one I find very useful. I can go ahead and select here. Maybe I want to have a table that is 3 wide and 4 long. I can just select that right here, and it'll go ahead and create that table. And then I can go ahead and click on the individual cells and copy it. The other feature that's really cool is maybe you're in the process of typing and you want to create a table as you're typing. Well, you can do that. I can go ahead and type a note. So type a note, and then if I hit the tab button, it'll actually create a cell. And I can maybe number 1 in there, tap again, and it'll create another cell. And I'm gonna put number 2 and create another cell, and put number 3. Now when I hit return, it's going to create another row for me. So now I have so far a table that is 4 columns wide in 2 rows. And I can go ahead and put 1 in here. And now if I hold the shift key down and hit return again, it's going to allow me to create space inside of that note. But if I hold the control key down, it's going to go ahead and create another row. And that's really important to know that that feature also works on Apple as well as Windows. So the next feature I want to show you is if we go into Insert and choose File Attachment, I can go into File Attachment. I'm going to go into my downloads, and I'm going to pull in this image right here. Now we could pull in an image, we could pull in a PDF file, but the idea here is I'm going to pull this in, and it's going to download it and import it into my note page. Now I can go ahead and open that image up, and I can view that image. But also what's really cool is if I click on that image, I can choose to insert as a printout. And you can do this with PDF files, any image file, but now it creates that image into a printout. And what I can do now is pull out my stylus and go into the draw tool, and maybe I don't like what we wrote here. I can circle that, and I can write a note that says change font. Maybe, for example, I want to highlight this down here. I can do that. I can use that red pen to mark up, and I can basically mark up this entire image. Now from here, I could go ahead and I could go to File, and I could actually share that page with somebody. So I could actually send them an email, I could send them a printout so they can actually see my notation, or I can just keep it for my own reference. So you can see here I can choose to send it through email, or I can copy a link. And now when you copy a link, you have the ability to make it so someone can edit it or simply view it. Depends on what you want to do with your preferences. But that is one really awesome feature. So back into Insert, some of the other features I want to show you is Clipping Mask. Well, I can't really show you from this particular screen, but let's just say I had a browser window open and there was something on that screen that was really attractive. I could go in and click on Clipping Mask, and I could create a clipping mask of my screen. And as I did that, it would pull that image back into OneNote. And as you see right now, I just simply created a clipping mask of my desktop. It shows the date and time that that clipping mask was created, and I can just select and move that. I can also have the ability, if I wanted to go ahead and resize that, I could. So where I find clipping masks really important, especially if you're note-taking and you're citing different information or different resources, using that clipping mask is really important. If you're on like a Zoom or webinar and there is a slideshow presentation and the deck hasn't been shared with you, creating a clipping mask and inserting that right alongside your notes, really helpful. There's also abilities to create hyperlinks, and these hyperlinks can be internal and external. We're going to show you a way to create hyperlinks within your notebook here in a second. The last thing I want to show you is when it comes to recording. Now, you can go ahead and record audio as well as record video. And if you record video, you might want to have an external device set up. When you go ahead and record audio, I can go ahead, tap on my screen, hit transcribe, and hit record audio, and it'll bring up a box where it'll start recording the audio. Now it's using the microphones on the device that I'm recording from to record, so just keep that in mind. And then when I'm all done, I could, throughout the conversation, hit pause or hit stop. And when I hit stop, then it'll go ahead and stop. Now, anytime if I click on that note, I can go ahead and play that. And it'll bring up a box where it'll start recording the audio. And I can also fast forward. The other thing besides recording audio is you can also record and transcribe. So if I'm maybe in a lecture or I am taking my own notes internally, I can go ahead and hit transcribe. This will pull up a window, and I want to make sure that I'm signed into my OneDrive, and I can go ahead and start recording. And from here, I can go ahead and start recording, and you're going to see that as I'm recording, it is pulling the number of how long the recording is. And as soon as I'm done, I can stop, I can pause there. But when I'm done, I can save and transcribe now. What this is going to do is it's going to upload that file to OneDrive, and OneDrive is then going to take and transcribe that for me. And you can see here, I can go through and edit the transcribe. What's really important to know is there's also a time block that's present here so that I can actually fast forward and jump through, and I can easily see. And then I can even go ahead and add this information to my page. And I can add in however I want. And now you can see that that transcription of those notes are down here. And there's actually a link to the recording file on here, which was uploaded to our drive. So that is a little look at some of those features when it comes to writing, typing, recording audio, creating cells, and attaching different documents. There's a lot that you can do to really enhance your note-taking process with OneNote. Now we're going to talk about how you can start to create some integration and how you can navigate and utilize OneNote for your note-taking capabilities. And I like to tell people when it comes to thinking about utilizing OneNote, think of it as a filing cabinet. This is probably the best visual description that we can have for it. So you have a filing cabinet. That is essentially your notebook. So you can create multiple notebooks, like you can have multiple filing cabinets. And you can designate a filing cabinet for your HR needs, your marketing needs, your sales needs. And for the planner, we designate a filing cabinet just for our annual planner. And then every year, we have a new annual planner, a new filing cabinet. So when you look at that filing cabinet, a lot of filing cabinets have drawers, right? Those drawers are going to be your sections. Group sections is what I commonly refer to them. So a group section is a drawer of files and notes. So inside that drawer, you have file folders, and those would be your sections inside your OneNote application. And then everything that goes into those folders or in those sections are your pages or your pieces of paper. So that is the best way that I can explain to you when it comes to OneNote, how you can organize yourself. So before you dive into creating your own notebook, if you're not using our planner, but you're just creating a notebook for yourself, is think about that filing cabinet vision. What is going to be the filing cabinet? What are going to be those group sections, those drawers? How are you going to label and sort that information? Because I think when you establish good organization, you're going to be able to easily recall your notes and place them all together. But there's a couple features I'm going to show you that help you find notes if things get lost. And I'm going to show you that right here in a moment. And those things are called hyperlinks and searching. But I want to give you a visual. So right here is our planner, and you can see how we have different sections. We have those group sections, and they expand. And when I click on those individual pages, you can see that I can change the layout of those pages, and we've been using this throughout this video. But that is essentially how the planner works and how you can establish notes for yourself. We've talked a little bit about these hyperlinks, and you can see we have some hyperlinks here. But let's talk about how we can create hyperlinks for us when it comes to being able to take better notes. Well, I'm going to go to my meeting tab here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on this meeting. I'm going to pull up my keyboard. In this case here, I just have a little short keyboard. I'm just going to go ahead and title this. I'm just going to put Meeting with Tom. And that creates a note for my meeting on my meeting page. Now, if I tap and hold on this page, I'm going to have the ability to hit Copy Link to Page. That is going to save the location of this page in my clipboard. Well, Tom and I are actually getting together on this date here. I'm going to go ahead and hit Paste, and I'm going to bring in that to my planner and put down 10 o'clock. Well, him and I are meeting at 10 o'clock. I just create a hyperlink. If I go ahead and tap on that hyperlink, it takes me right to that note page. And where I really find that that's a benefit, as I go through the week and I do my planning, I create a lot of notes or a lot of meetings, and I want to be able to index those to my actual calendar so that I can go back and copy those notes, I can plan for those notes, I can write out my agenda and sketch out any ideas or thoughts. So the next thing is maybe I can't find my notes because I didn't create a hyperlink. I want to learn where they might be. I can go over here and click on search notebooks. And this, in some applications, looks like it's a magnifying glass. And I can choose to search all notebooks. So this here is going to search through every single notebook I have in here. Or I can choose to search only in this notebook, which would be this year's planner, or into a group, which would be that filing drawer or a section. We're going to do all notes. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And I'm going to type in the word cheese. And you're going to see that it's going to pull in everywhere where I have cheese. Now I'm just going to pull on this Tuesday the 19th from 2023. And if I pull this up, you're going to see highlighted right here is the word cheese. It was able to recognize my handwritten notes and it pulled it across a planner page from a few years ago. And that's where the searching gets really powerful. Now, you probably don't care about me making cheese fries for my kids after school. That's probably not important. But if I go through and I create tags or keywords that I use in my notes, such as project names, different materials, people that I'm meeting with, I can go ahead and easily search across my notebooks, across my many years of planning to be able to find all the corresponding notes. Anytime I go ahead and click on that drop-down area or click back on cheese, I can go back and see the rest of those notes and continue to review those pieces. I can also hit the pin bar, and that's going to pin those all on the side here. So that way, if I have to thumbnail through a lot of them, I can easily do that. When I developed the Key to Success Planner, I wanted to have a planning system that was very traditional and very paper-like, but I wanted to be able to help individuals in their personal, professional, and businesses help grow their planning capabilities. Now, we have so often started and began and now rely on electronic planners. iCal, Google, Outlook, and we count on those notifications. We even put them on our wrist to remind us where we need to be and give us instructions on what we're going to do in our day. But that is where it ends. We can't take notes. We can't plan. We can't be effective with our time. We're simply managing our time and where our place is in life. When it comes to planning, we're taking that event, that activity, and we're actually bringing it into our life and saying, what is it that we're looking to achieve from this event? What questions do I have? What answers do I need to provide? What is the solution that we're looking for here? Planning is about taking your vision and being able to create action steps that you can integrate into your daily activities. And that's what makes planning so powerful. Now, I'm not telling you to abandon those electronic devices and scheduling systems. A lot of times they do work hand in hand. We actually can enhance your productivity by using our planning system. We've designed this planning system to work at 4 different levels of life. If you're looking for something that's just personal, something to help manage your daily activities, if you're retired or you're a student or you're a mother or a father that's working at home and you just want to have a personal daily planner, we have a personal edition. If you're someone that's growing in your profession and you have meetings and projects and habits you're trying to organize and plan and keep track of, our professional edition will serve you very well. And if you are someone that's starting a business, managing a department, developing a product or service, and you have a big multi-year plan ahead of you, a vision that you want to achieve, our organizational operating system inside our business planner is going to help you do that. It's a 3-year plan to help build framework in what it is that you want to achieve, giving you key goals, just like Franklin Covey told us in the 7 Habits of Successful People, is put things that are important first in your plans. Our organizational operating system helps you determine those things, break down the challenges that you have to help you establish good strengths and good routines so that you can achieve success. And when we look at our executive planner, this is for someone that has a team around them, someone that's trying to build their bench. Because by building our bench, we're going to have more people that can step into the light to help us move our organizations, our departments forward. And by being a good leader, you're going to want to be able to provide and equip the people on your team with the resources they need. So that's what our executive planner does. It also includes a 30-minute session with me where you can learn more about your own workflow and how you can integrate it into the planning system. And by all means, if you're at a personal, professional, or business level and you want to have a coaching opportunity with me, we offer that in either 30-minute segments or monthly or quarterly coaching opportunities. When I said earlier that I wanted to have a planning system that was traditional in nature, I wanted a system that you could easily plan out your day, but be able to provide purpose in your day and create daily key 3 activities. When I think of daily key 3 activities, these are activities that are most important to our success. They're going to give us the sense and gratitude that we've achieved the results that we needed to today. So I want each person each day to indicate what those key 3 are, as well as being able to establish what your to-dos are for the day. And we showed you so many different tools that allow you to go ahead and create, like the last little tool to copy these notes and pull them into one page to the next, which allows you to take those to-dos and paste those into your next day. And like I commonly said, what I'll do is as I go through the items that I was able to finish off, I just go ahead and erase those and then move up the rest of the to-dos that I have for myself in that particular day so I can stay organized with all my various tasks. But that's the planning system, and when you utilize OneNote, these plans are going to synchronize across all those different devices. So if I have my phone out in front of me, if I have my iPad or I'm using my laptop, I'm able to synchronize those notes, make edits and amendments to them so that they stay up to date across all my different devices. If you guys want to learn more about our planning system, take a minute, go in the description, there's a link there. We provide this planner for not only OneNote, but several other applications. There's free training online. We have 2 series training programs that are going to help you go through either productivity enhancement or framework building for yourself and your organization. So as you dive more and more into OneNote, you're starting to see all the exciting tools from handwritten, typing notes, to being able to record your audio, create hyperlinks, share your different notes, and expand on your planning capabilities. You're probably starting to ask yourself some common questions. And there's a lot of common questions that come up, and we're going to dive into a few of them. One of the first one that comes up is integration. How does OneNote integrate with my other applications? Well, let's talk about some of those. First and foremost, let's talk about Outlook tasks. Inside of OneNote, you can create an Outlook task, and by creating this task and then labeling this task, it'll actually sync across to your Outlook and be present in your Outlook task. So that way you can see a complete list of all your tasks that you have across all your different pages. So say for example, you are in your notebook and you write a task on your daily page, but then you're in a project or a meeting and you create a task there. Inside Outlook, you're going to see a list of all those tasks. When you mark the task complete, either in Outlook or OneNote, they are going to mark complete across both systems. Now you can also take those Outlook tasks and integrate those into other applications. I'll let you discover that, but again, if you have that app on your device and you mark it complete there, it'll then synchronize across all those things. The next thing is meetings and your actual calendar appointments. Well, with OneNote, you have the ability to take your calendar inside Outlook and create and send your meetings to OneNote. And what this allows you to do is in those meeting notes, you can create more detailed meetings. A lot of times I attach these meetings either to my daily page or to a specific meeting page that I've designated for it. What this allows me to do is be able to link my meetings in my Outlook to my planning notes in my planner or actually on my planning page. That also allows me then to have a capability if I want to update something about that meeting, maybe the location changes or the time changes, I can do that inside of OneNote and that'll synchronize across to Outlook. Now, what makes that even more exciting, if you're watching this video or if you go check it out, you're going to see that that'll then synchronize across your entire ecosystem. So if you're using like iCal and you have an iPhone or you're using Outlook on an Android device, it's going to be able to synchronize there. So that is really powerful and that allows you to connect your calendar. And we can go even a step further. And this is where it gets pretty exciting as we start talking more and more about teams. Well, now you can actually take a notebook inside of your team's environment, import that notebook. So you could use our project pages or our meeting pages to have a collaborated notebook inside of your team's environment and be able to share that across everyone that's working in there. And that's really exciting. OneNote's gonna be a great tool for collaboration. In addition to using Teams, you can also use OneNote and invite others to collaborate with you. You can give them power to view your notebook or even edit the content in it. And where that's really powerful, as we showcased earlier, when we're marking up those images or those PDFs, somebody on the other side of the world on another device can see those annotations that you're making, and you can collaborate that way. And that's really powerful. And these are just a selection, a few of the most sought after features when it comes to integration. Now, keep in mind, there's also some integration that we haven't talked about, and that's the ability to use AI when it comes to OneNote. And we're going to dive into that a little more. But before we do that, there's one tip I wanted to show you. If I am in my planner and I am, say, on a particular date, like for example, I'm looking to go to a basketball game tomorrow, but then at the same time, what I want to do is I want to make sure that that's in my electronic planner. So I'm going to simply say, Siri, can you add the state basketball tournament to my schedule tomorrow, Friday the 15th, from 8 until 11 a.m. in Madison?
State basketball tournament at James Madison University. It's on your Bodhi work calendar.
And that is so powerful. So now we have the ability to use our planner traditionally as we have in the past, but still use AI to bring in our meetings and events into our electronic calendar. So I get the notification. It also blocks off time in my digital space so others cannot invite themselves into my time blocks. So those are some really awesome integrations that you can use. But where is OneNote going? And that's what we're going to talk about next. As we talk about the future and what's coming in OneNote, I want to answer some basic questions. First off, when it comes to using OneNote, you can either use a personal account or a business account. Personal accounts are free and they come with 5 gigabytes of storage, which is quite a bit of storage, seeing that I usually only use about 200 to 300 megabytes per year with my planning. Now you can go ahead and you can add more storage with that to increase it up to 1 terabyte and even beyond that. With the business account, we're going to get a different set of features, and this is common when we use other tools like Word and Excel. That's going to give us a lot of opportunities to utilize Microsoft's complete ecosystem. But I want you to know one thing. When it comes to using a personal account versus a business account, if you're using a business account in OneNote, a lot of times you can only create and import notebooks on a Windows device. So if you're Apple ecosystem only or only using a tablet that's an Android or an iPad, for example, you're probably going to want to start with a personal edition. Now you can share and invite people that have business editions, including yourself, into utilizing and seeing those notes that you have on your personal edition. With that being said, OneNote can be utilized across all of the different ecosystems that we talked about, and you can do it with one account and one subscription. When it comes to importing a notebook into your device, like you would utilize and import our planner, if you have any questions about it, the first question I would ask you is, can you create your own notebook? If you can go ahead and create your own notebook, then our planning system will be able to easily import into your ecosystem. So don't need to go out and check with your IT department. If you can create your own new notebook, you can go ahead and personalize and import our planning system. And what makes OneNote even more powerful is the ability to back up to the cloud. We're using the cloud to synchronize across all those devices, but we're also using OneNote to back up all of our notes. And one thing that I find that's even more important is sometimes I make notes and then I change my notes and then I realize I want to go back to the note that I originally had. Well, with OneNote, you can go into the application and view versions of the pages so you can see versions of your pages from earlier dates and you can restore those. That is really powerful in its sense. With that being said, the last question that always comes up, is the planner a subscription? No, it's not. It's a one-time purchase. Just like a paper planner, you go ahead and you purchase the planner for that year and you have it for life. So you can write in the notes, take all the notes you want, and you have it for as long as you would like. Each year, you simply buy a new paper planner and continue to hold those notes for life. And as you've seen earlier in the video, I can search across multiple years and see all the notes that I have, if it be cheese grilled sandwiches or pizza fries, whatever the nature may be, or even important meetings that I'm attending. So those are some of the getting started questions that I asked. But where is OneNote going? What does the future look like for us? Well, Steve Jobs said to us, which is a great man, he brought a lot of innovation to the world, but he said that we wouldn't use this. We would count on this. And I find that over time, when I'm meeting with people in spaces, if I'm on a computer typing, it's a distraction. It's almost kind of rude. But if I got my tablet out, just as if I had my yellow tablet back in the day, and I'm talking like 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s, if I have my tablet out and I have a pen in front of me and I'm writing notes and I'm talking to you and you're talking and I'm writing notes, it creates a connection, a bond. It's almost a means of respect because I care enough to take notes on what you have to say. Well, we find that Steve Jobs wasn't wrong, just that professional courtesy and stronger productivity comes from handwriting. When we write something, we are committing to it. When we write something, we're 11 times more likely to remember it and take action on it. So where do we see the future going? We're going to see the future expand, where we're going to see more integration. We're going to see Copilot, AI, more infused in OneNote than ever before, and that's going to allow us to become more productive. At the same time, with the power of note-taking, we're going to have a better memory, we're going to stay sharper, and we're going to be able to execute those plans. With that being said, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button if you learned just one thing. I'm hoping you learned like 5 or 6 because you stuck around for a long time in this video. And if you want to learn more, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We covered tons of content about videography, photography, planning, electronics, technology, and the list goes on and on. It's really about the things that I love in life, and I'd love to share those experiences with you. So please join me, subscribe. We're going to continue to go down this road together. We're going to become better entrepreneurs, better business leaders, better individuals, better followers of Christ. And we can do that by having real intentions of how we want to plan our life. And you can do that with OneNote. I promise you that. Lord willing, guys, we'll see each other in the next video. Godspeed.